I think the person that is playing the best game in this house right now is Xavier. You know what, to be honest, I did everything that I could have done this week to save myself from being evicted, but at the end of the day, the house felt like I was the bigger threat between Big D and myself. So I knew at the end of the day, even fighting as hard as I could have, Big D didn't really even need a campaign, and there was still a very big chance that I was going home. But that did not stop me. You all know that I'm a fighter. That did not stop me from having 6 points together and going throughout the house guests and trying to convince them why it was a good idea for me to stay in the house. I really did feel like I elongated everyone's games by staying in the house instead of with Big D. He now becomes the ultimate pawn. Anyone that sits next to him will be going home because anyone is a bigger threat than Big D at this point, I would say, in any regard besides socially. So for me, I would say I tried my best, but at the end of the day, I can only do so much. Well, if this wasn't obvious, I definitely do feel betrayed by Kyland. I just did not know that he was the type of person to break deals and break his word in that regard. I really saw a lot of Kyland's true colors come out this week, both in the way that he broke off the deal and the way that he then spoke to me afterwards, and just very non-respectful and rude ways. And so for me, that told me a lot about his character, and it told me a lot about his true colors kind of showing up. So for me, I do feel betrayed by Kyland. I also do feel slightly betrayed by Tiff. Tiff, I was in 2 alliances with her, and I really felt like Claire was going to bat for me to stay, and Tiffany was more taking a step back, being like, whatever the HOH wants. Well, I'm just waiting for people to start playing an individual game in this house. Right now, everyone really is just doing whatever the person in power wants, which is not always best for their personal game. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so my most loyal allies and the people that I want to go farthest in this game are obviously Azza and Big D, my fellow jokers. I love the both of them so much. And for me, being on the block 4 times, they were there for me through each and every one of them. It made our team so much stronger as a unit. And so for me, those were both of my closest allies, and I really hope that both of them go far, and I think they will. You know what? This is a question that I have pondered many of times. For me, I have no regrets as to how the veto went down because we made the decision together as a team. And I know she has no regrets as to how the veto went down because we made the decision, like I said, together as a team. Do I think Azza would have made it farther than me and Otev? She was way luckier than I was in finding those jellies. So I'm going to tell you, I think that answer is yes. But I know she does not regret how Otev went down, just like I said, because we made that decision together and we were going to stick with it. But I do think she had a very good shot of winning Otev. She was finding every jelly so quickly. And I didn't realize that, obviously, in the competition because I have no luck in luck competitions. And so she was fighting him super quick, though. So I think she would have done very, very well in the comp, but no regrets. I think the person that is playing the best game in this house right now is Xavier. And I say that for a couple different reasons. Xavier is a huge threat. He did not need to drop off that wall. He was perfectly fine. He could have stayed on that wall longer than DX could have. But for me, Xavier's playing the most under the radar, low game for being the big threat that he is. And he's on no one's radar. So for me, I really do feel like X has a really great shot at taking it home at the end. But I'm not going to make any promises. Obviously, I would love to see him there, but I just think that people need to open their eyes because Xavier is such a big threat, but he's playing such a low game. So right now, I think Xavier is playing the best game.